going to be going over a lot of different rifles right now. We're going to start with my beauty here, the KWA CQB. Also, other guys on the team have the SR7, which is Squid, and the SR7 and the SR10, which
SR10 is the long one.
Chaplin has the SR10. So we kind of went from low to mid to high.
So everyone's got each one has a different KWA basically.
Yeah, pretty much it goes from short distance, mid distance, and long range. And Chaplin can really reach out, and hit people. But we're not talking about his gun, we're talking about mine. So let's get on it. And we're gonna talk about this bus stop real quick. I forgot already.
I think this is the original CTR stock. The new one's actually a lock that goes right.
Yeah, this is a CTR, the original one, because I got this a while back. But it's a 6 stock. Once you put it on, it's a little bit tricky, but it's smooth. It's really nice and it locks in place. I haven't had any issues with this thing coming out at all.
I wish they issued those, huh?
Yeah, right. Anything Magpul, I wish they issued. Coming on to the pistol grip here. Can't change out the pistol grip because it's
proprietary stuff.
KWA. And the sight, Trijicon, not Trijicon sight. It's a replica.
It's a replica of Trijicon, but because it's really, I don't know how many people out there actually have something like this. Everyone's got ACOGs, everyone's got EOTICs, everyone's got M68s and little Comp 1s and Comp 2s and whatnot. But not very many people have Cobras or have one of these out there.
Yeah, I've stumbled upon this at Evlike in the walk-in store, and I literally stumbled upon it when I looked inside the case, and I was like, hey, what's in that box? And the guy showed me, he's like, oh, I didn't even know we had these. And there's only like 2 in there. So there's some other really, there's some really other awesome guy out there with this optic. Well, and he's probably like, look at me, awesome. Okay. But it was a $90 optic, and I think for
no batteries
for
either.
what it's worth, yeah, fiber. Completely fiber optic, so it's awesome
and it almost got shot out too, huh?
Yeah, I shot there's a lens cover, shaded cover in the front. I thought I broke the optic, but it just actually peeled right out. So now I have no protection at all. So let's cross our fingers that Ranger's optic doesn't get shot out. So all you little guys, please don't.
Otherwise he's gonna have to find a new optic.
And cry.
Or he'll just kill you with iron sights.
Or my mind.
Yes.
Either or.
His eyes are optics, you don't know that.
So, here I'm running a laser flashlight combo with the pressure switch.
And it's all left-hand configuration.
This is all left-hand configuration. You can see that in my other video that I had. And as you can tell, you know, blindness of the enemy is always awesome. I don't usually run a muzzle device unless I have a barrel to compensate. Usually, you know, looks aren't that big deal to me. You know, it's more about more functionality and efficiency on the field.
Yeah, you have the MO grip on here too.
Yeah, you know, I'm not that huge of a fan about it, to be honest. I put it on there, and I kept it on there just because, you know, I paid for my money. I might as well leave it on there. You know, I do prefer the rail system because I have more options and real estate to play with.
I think what this does is it kind of forces you to keep things simpler though at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because some guys put they make their gun look like it's a freaking like a freaking satellite. You know, there's like a thing that's sticking.
Yeah, and it weighs down the front, and really you want a real good balance between the butt stock and the tip of your barrel.
Pretty much.
You know, and here I got my ergonomic hand.
The AFG?
The hand grip here.
I think that's one of the original ones too.
This is another original. All this stuff is old stuff, so I haven't really tapped into the newer stuff, but whatever, it really works for me. At first it was kind of a weird concept to hold the rifle like this because I was so used to the pistol grips.
Yeah, especially it was like the grip pod. You probably had a grip pod, didn't you? Like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I didn't have one of those, but I've seen other people with them.
But you had the old style gangster grip.
Yeah, the gangster grip for sure is and on the old musket there. But that's my gun in a nutshell. Shooting around, believe it or not, I'm shooting around 300.
300?
Running 300, so I'm not spraying super far, but for my aggressiveness.
Well, even with low FPS, like, you know, there is all these debates about barrel length and FPS. Well, so, a lot of it also comes down to like the quality of the barrel and also your hop up and stuff that's in there.
Right.
You know, is this one of the newer KWAs per se?
This is.
They have the GX2 bucking in there. because it's
This
not.
is the
it's-
GX2
Yeah, see,
series. Yeah.
See, that would give it a lot more accuracy. GX2 bucking.
I haven't had any issues with this gun. You know, I've had it for a while. I've definitely abused it. So.
And I'm pretty sure some of you guys have probably been killed by this gun.
Yeah.
Probably.
Even myself.
Come here, kitties.
I shoot myself in the foot every once in a while. So. All right. Let's go to your next rifle you got here.
Okey-dokey.
And,
Sit down real quick.
Pull out your.
Let's see. This is my.
Got another version of the M4 here.
Yes, this is a classic. This is actually older than Ranger's rifle. This is from 2006. It was my very first AG. And it actually was really expensive for someone's first
Now
AG.
for all the noobs out there, or new guys who are new to airsoft, I don't want to call them noobs because I don't want to offend anybody. But when you're looking for a new airsoft gun, what are the key things that you are looking for?
Well, I mean, it also like depends on what type of fields you're gonna be playing at. Pricing is a big one, of course. Not every new guy is gonna be able to buy like a $400 gun right out of the box.
Yeah.
Although that was actually kind of like the situation for me because I did a lot of research on what I wanted. But like typically these days, like a G&G Raider or something like that. I mean, you'd be surprised. Like the quality of the lower tier guns
has gone
up a
quite a
lot.
bit.
I mean, in the end though, it really is the operator that makes the kill, the operator that makes the gun. You can get kills with springers if you're really good enough. But as a first gun, like a good G&G Raider or something like that, pretty good. Really a good quality and for your dollar. But this is a Classic Army M15A4 CQB, the original one. Doesn't really look like the original one, and there's actually a couple things actually broke on it. I mean, wear and tear on a gun, but I've made a couple modifications. Starting from the front, I am kind of like a guru for looks, so I do. But there's an extended barrel in here, so this is a little useful.
Yeah.
But I've run extended barrels, but I also have some mock suppressors on there. I'm a big guy for rail covers. I love covering the rails, just adds this cool guy look to it. I have run different varieties of grips. Right now I really like the stubby Magpul grips. That's really one of my favorite ones. And this part is actually kind of a funny little gimmick. The old Classic Armies, a lot of older weapons with rail systems, the rails, the whole front end just kind of after a while starts to wiggle independently. Yeah. So the poor man's fix to it was get a rail cover and put it right in between the two.
That's smart.
That's what I did, so it actually helps a little bit.
Yeah.
Still tiny little bit of wobble. This thing actually broke a while ago, but I can still get the hop up, doesn't really matter to me. I've run varied optics on this weapon, but even though this gun shoots about 380, I'll typically stick with the red dot.
What kind of sight is this for you?
Well, this is one of the window style reflex sights. I've actually run the ACOG style reflex sights on here as well.
So would you prefer more over another, ACOG compared to?
Well, the ACOG style ones, I like the look of them. They're more aesthetic, but at the same time you do get a little bit of that tube look to them, just because of the way they're shaped. As opposed to this one, is just wide field of view. I mean, there's no tube. Obviously, it's just a window basically. So obviously your field of vision is gonna be better with this. So I kind of slapped this on recently. I kind of rotate my optics out.
Yeah,
but for CQB, this is definitely better. But you have to be careful if you get
something you guys gotta think about too when you guys are checking out optics. That your peripherals are huge, and if you have no peripherals, you might as well just look through a glass tube.
If you're on the Rainbow team and you have those cool masks, you don't need peripheral vision. You can see right through.
We actually have electronics,
yes.
like
it's like Boba Fett's helmet. You can see everything.
Yeah, sort
kids
of like
don't realize
Iron Man in a way.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. So you see a variation of optics right here. We have red dots. We got 3-bys. We have friggin' ACOGs. What I try to look for in an optic is something that is going to be, if it's battery, it's got to be long lasting. That's like the biggest thing. If it's a magnify, it's got to be something that's gonna last me and not break on me, because a lot of them when you shake them, they'll mess with the optic and it'll jack it up, whatever. And also peripheral vision when you're looking through the optic itself. A lot of these, like these type of red dots, the M68s, quote unquote, is what they call them in the Army. Has a red dot inside. It's really simple. Turn it on. That's your basic, your basic red dot. getting into something more advanced, you're looking at these low profile red dot systems. These are good for CQB and even like target shooting, quote unquote, quick acquisition, stuff like that. And then you have the halo sight, where it's actually reflected off of the mirror, and that's when you see you know, your optic. What I don't like about these ones, or a lot of the mirrored ones, just for obvious reason, reflection. If you're trying to stay stealthy, you know, that's not really something. If you're looking for stealth, that's not something that you want to look for. And also, you know, make sure you guys get a cover for the fronts, especially like this one. Or if you wanna buy something like this, make sure you get a cover for it, because you get a shatter mark like that if you don't. So, you know, what, $90 optic, something like that. You guys don't take care of them. Airsoft, it's just gonna break, and that's just money out of your pocket. Moving on to, you know, lasers and flashlights. Here I have I actually have this when I was overseas. It's like a regular Surefire light. This is good just for like flashing. It has no pressure point or anything like that, or pressure switch. You can take it off and reapply one and put one on, but it's really just your basic flashlight. The lume is minimal on this one. I think it's like 100 lume or something. It's not that big. Looking at something like this, which has about 130 lume. The brightness on here is quite immaculate. I bought this because it's a dual flashlight and a laser. So see a laser right there. These things are really awesome for CQB. Plus, it comes with a pressure switch on it, so I can click away and not have to manually do it with my finger. And just you got a regular laser here. Lasers are okay. They're not something I really are like woo about, you know. They're cool for quick acquisition and CQB and stuff like that, but they're not something that I really need on a weapon system. Moving on to foregrips. You got your tiny little Magpul foregrip here. You got a little bit of a larger one for, you got baby hands, you know, you got something like this, or you know, something low profile, that's good. A little bit larger, and I think this is about the same size. So, yeah, those are cool. Plus you got your regular, you know, your gangster grip one here, but this one also has a bipod. I don't know if they issued these or they gave them to the soldiers overseas. I remember one of my guys in my platoon had one of these, but as soon as he slapped it out in an engagement he had, and he hit it real hard, the thing just busted in pieces. So these aren't the most, in my experience, they're not the most rugged pieces of equipment, but for airsoft, you know. I remember, I got a little story for you, I guess. A little kid had a Springer, and he had one of these on his pistol, and he's like, oh, I got these guys, and he pops it out and he puts it up on a ledge and starts popping with his little Springer, so I thought that was just kind of funny. But definitely a foregrip, helps with accuracy, stuff like that. If you're looking for more better target acquisition and speed, that definitely, you could hold your rifle a little bit stronger when you're moving side to side. Going into, you know, muzzle brakes and suppressors, really in airsoft, it's all for show. So whatever your personal preference is, whether you're running a long one, a short one, a skinny one, you know, it doesn't really matter as of the performance of your weapon, unless you're running a longer inner barrel. This will cover that inner barrel, so you don't have to buy a longer rifle. You could just put one of these on and it'll kind of cover that.
Ah, yes. Oh, I see you're watching. Okay, cool. This is Spartan. If you haven't been watching, you know, you should have. Here we are at Rangers HQ, which is in top secret location. That's actually in Riverside. But here we have a collection of, which is actually mostly my stuff and some of Rangers things, Well, as you can see, we have my AK Beta, Masada here. But as you can see, I never actually realized how many objects I had until I actually put them all on this table. I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ACOGs, different varieties, ranging from reflex to actual magnified. Now, the magnified definitely good for spotting people, especially if you're in like a woodland setting or any kind of setting where you just need to pick small movement out at a distance. Of course, got my CQC/CQB sights, M68s, Comp 1s, and other kind of micro red dots and other reflex sights, or panoramic sights as well. Those are obviously great for CQB. You gotta protect them though, because when engaging at close distance, as you can see in this sucker here, you might get your lens shot out, but this is like my little trophy from CQB City. And as you can see, we also have some lasers and other optical devices, like aiming assistant, like to help you aim or just to help like blind targets or other utilities. And even though muzzle devices and suppressors don't really have full functionality in airsoft, they are more or less cosmetic and an aesthetic thing, but really good for style, and sometimes they'll help you cover that extra barrel length. But this is kind of like my collection of optics and gizmos and gears. Now, I do have other grips and stuff, but they're actually added onto the weapon, like this one itself. But yeah, that's kind of my collection there. So if you have any questions about what you see here, leave a comment in the or in the description below. Thanks.
Aren't you gonna go with the Masada?
Oh yeah. Well, we'll make another one.
Okay.
Alright guys, so the last video taped, like the camera did something funny. But this is my A&K Masada. Now this is the GMP model. I got this from e-bike. So I got this like maybe a year or two ago, about or so. And since then I actually visited Airsoft Extreme and threw on one of these rails, about $100. It's really cool. I actually like the rail look. It gives a more aggressive look than the standard foregrip look on it. And to me, the A&K style Masadas have a truer feel and look to them than the original Masada than the ACR does. I still like the way the ACR looks, but I kind of like how the old school Masada concept looks better. As you can see, it still has all the same features that the Masada has. There really isn't too much you can really, or that you really should do to this gun, because it essentially is like everything that you would mod on an M4. I mean, it has what essentially is a built-in MOE grip. Of course, it's got full-length rails. I do mount optics on here. Since it shoots about 350, you really don't need anything. If anything, like ranged-wise, maybe an ACOG, but you should really be sticking to irons for CQB or a red dot. If you don't want to get your optics shot out, stick with the irons or maybe a flashlight or something. And as you can see, this one, I actually had to put an adapter on. It actually has a 14mm clockwise, and I had to put a little adapter here, which goes from clockwise to counterclockwise. That way I can put more of my muzzle devices or barrel extensions and other things on there. And as you can see, I did have an AFG on here before, but I actually kind of like this little vertical grip a little better. So I still use the thumb brake method, but overall, this is definitely one of my favorite guns. It shoots really fast, like 22 rounds a second, 350 feet per second. So, thanks for watching, guys. This is the A&K MacLobuzz.